There was big news in the world of boxing last night,
Yep.
Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Joshua fought in front of 96,000 people at Wembley
Mm-hmm.
against Daniel Dubois.
Mm-hmm.
And why don't we just let Inka take this take this away, and then I'll come back and give my thoughts.
No, so it's funny when you said he fought. I said he was beaten in front of 96,000 people.
Ouch! 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 Okay, so we're gonna disagree a lot about this. So go on.
Anyway, so he lost. He went down like 4 or 5 times. Yeah. Which was a bit surprising. Now, full disclosure, I love Anthony Joshua, right? I like him as a person. He's a nice guy. He's humble. All the works. He's Nigerian, so I don't want to make it seem as if I'm bashing him, right? But all along, I've never really fancied him as a boxer. Hear me out.
Wow.
Yeah. So see, boxing is 3 things. It's your offense, your defense, and your heart. Yeah. Offense, you can break it down into punching power, punching skill, and footwork. The only thing going for Anthony Joshua offensively is punching power. In terms of footwork and punching skill, it's not that, it's the punching power that is elite. Every other one in that regard, not really, right? In terms of heart, give it to him. The boy has heart. When he stumbles, he comes back up. His mentality, his focused, everything. I give that to him. Yeah. Defensive. Defensive. When you talk about defense in boxing, you're talking about, once again, footwork, chin. For those that know boxing, chin is how well you can absorb punches, right? It's footwork, chin, evasion, and block, right? Blocking, not a strong suit. Evasion, not a strong suit. Chin, absolutely not a strong suit. Footwork, once again, not really his strongest suit. So from a boxing profile, the only thing he has going for him is his reach because he's tall and his punching power. Yeah. So that's why when he gets into battles with proper people that are, if he's going into battle with sluggers, it depends on who hits who first. Yeah. And he goes into boxing with proper people. Yeah. He struggles a bit. And maybe age is not also on his side anymore. So I wasn't too surprised yesterday with the bout at all. Right. Like I told you, his chin is very, very low. It's very, very poor. He gets rattled easily with the slightest punches. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of people are saying he should retire. I'm like, hell no. Fight till you can't fight no more. George Foreman fought till he was 50 or whatever. Yeah. As long as you're gonna get bread, keep on fighting. You're not guarding any records anymore, are you? So just go ahead. No need to retire. Punch all the way. But I wasn't too shocked about yesterday's performance, frankly. Akin.
I'm shocked at your take. Let me put it this way. So number one, boxing is for me, boxing is the ultimate sport. I think I've said that before. We said that on our very first episode. I think boxing was my first love. I think I said that as well before. I don't like where boxing has gotten to. I don't like the state of boxing.
Yeah.
But absolutely my first love, 1984 Olympics, amateur boxing, Jerry Okorodudu, all those guys, right? Ali, Hagler, Herman, all of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
There are no great boxers left in the heavyweight division. I think it's fair to say that.
No, yeah, absolutely spot on. It's not a matter of being fair or everything. They're not.
The fact that Tyson Fury is considered a great bothers me. It's offensive to me.
He's not a great Aki.
He will beat anyone right now. If he's in decent shape, he will beat up on anyone. No one can really beat him. That's the reality of it. That's where
Yeah.
When I think about, I think the last great in boxing was Lennox Lewis. Maybe the Klitschko brothers. Maybe. For me, those are the last greats. Wilder has been judged kind of a fraud. But before I get too deep, this is what I'm struggling with, right?
Okay.
Why is boxing the ultimate sport? You are defenseless. You are. It's literally you against the other person,
Yeah.
and defense means you're getting your head bashed in. You know what I mean? So like you can say, there are other individual sports like tennis, which we both love,
Mm.
but the ball is not hitting your head as you're trying to play defense. In tennis,
Yeah.
you still have the racket between you and the other person. In boxing, your head is the defense. You know, you know what I'm saying? Like your brain is getting fried potentially. You could die potentially. So it's hard for me when someone has a quote unquote bad game to really go at them. I was very disappointed at some of the chat that I saw yesterday. And I'm like, these are people who have never done anything, achieved anything in their life. Beating up on this guy for having the guts to come out, and he had a bad first round, right? Again, I'm conflicted because this guy's Nigerian. I love him. I can't even be completely objective about him. But I felt this way when Wilder had a fight as well. So it's not just the Nigerianness for me.
You like Wilder?
I like people who show guts. I like people who show up. I like people. Like my boxing analysis will never be the same as my football analysis or my tennis analysis because people are literally putting their life on the line. And if you can show up and you don't quit and you don't take a knee and you get up, you're fine in my book. Wilder was heavily overmatched in that one fight that we all saw, right? It was overmatched, but he never gave up. It was wobbly, he never gave up. So for me, look, it's not, you want me to get technical? Yes. It doesn't have it's not Lennox Lewis. It's not, you see it, it's not the sweet science, right? But it's also not his fault that people can't box anymore, that people can't fight anymore, right? He showed up, he kept showing up. But I don't want to go off on a tangent. Back to AJ. So yesterday, he got hit in the first round. It was like, in football, you consider goal in the first 90 seconds. What do you do? And what's the famous Mike Tyson quote? Everyone has a plan until you get punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
Right? Until you get punched in the mouth. So there was something, I watched a lot of the post-game coverage. So I was on a flight while the match was going on. So I didn't see it in real time. But I had 5 hours on the plane. So I watched after on the plane. And I watched a lot of the post-game, maybe too much of the post-game. There's a couple ways I can go with it. So one is I saw something I never thought I saw. 2 rounds of applause when AJ came into the press room. I was conflicted about that. I'm like, you're the press, you should be objective. But I also understand they're thinking about what it did for British boxing.
Yeah.
Right? Putting them back on the map. Not since Frank Bruno has anyone really talked about British boxing until this guy came along. They also understand everything you've said, which you are not wrong, Yinka. I just would not engage in that analysis. You're not wrong. But I just can't do it. I disagree because I can't do what you're doing. I cannot be objective. So they're seeing what you saw, which is, okay, with the talent he has, he's already won. He's already overachieved. You know what I mean? But I think what they really were applauding was the fact that on the day when he didn't have it, and I think his agent said it the best. I forget his name, whatever his name is. He said while his legs were gone, he kept showing up. And he could have won. That's the crazy part of boxing. He could have won. He got knocked out while he was having his best spell of the game. I wrote a few things down, right? You said some of it, so I won't go into it. We already said he packed Wembley, 96,000 people. He got dropped in the first round. He got dropped, I think, 3 more times after that. I'm not going to count the slips that the referee was very kind to him, right?
Yeah.
There were 2 times that it was down that was counted as slips. You know what I mean? I don't think it was a slip. I think it was down. There was one that it did get elbowed down.
It did get elbowed,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, so, but The reality was his legs were wobbly after that first knockdown. That's the reality of it, right? He was having, I wrote down that he was having a very rare good spell, very rare, when he got caught by that right. So it hit Dubois in the tummy. Dubois got rocked. So even in the fifth round, without legs, he still packed a punch, you know? And then he was beginning to feel himself. Got that body shot, and then was going for, yes. And then so this was, I've never seen a fight like this where for everything AJ threw to the guy's face, instantly there was a response to AJ's face. Never seen anything like it. So you can say it was him not defending himself, but he was never going to win on points. And what he told his agent was, I'm not going to be out. What's the word? I think he said, I'm going to go down swinging. I'm going to go down on my shield, was what he said. He went out on his shield last night. You know what I mean? So as he was trying to hit, it didn't connect, and then he got hit. And this time there was no coming back. He tried, and there was no coming back. The count, maybe if the count was 15, it would have come up, but it couldn't do it. And frankly, the referee did the right thing. And so my final analysis is, it is hard for me to analyze boxing like tennis, because boxing is not tennis.
I can. I
know.
I'm very objective.
You don't care. Yeah, you don't care about humans. I care about humans. I'm just kidding. You know, so for me, it was just like, how many people, all the people chattering on Twitter, if you got hit with one punch, what do you do? You know? And then, there's been a theme. It's just been coming to me. You know, I've been talking to friends about parenting and stuff like that. And you might think this is too soft or whatever, but I love the fact that for both boxers, their dads were very involved. You know, AJ's dad was straight into the ring.
And came to dab him and said, "Young man, it's fine. It's not the end of the world."
And I love that display. You and I are both parents. You have 3 boys. I have a boy and a girl. You know, that bond, I loved it. Dubois, in his 10-minute press conference, mentioned his dad and God and his family like 18 times. You know, and how no one else believed him. So I love that part of it. But we've talked 10 minutes about this, and we haven't actually given Dubois his props, because what really happened was everyone would talk about his offense, and his offense was ridiculous. He just kept coming. He just kept coming. But his defense was also crazy, Inka, because I think against the average boxer, AJ could have made history yesterday. Knock someone out without legs, because he didn't have his legs. But this man would not even let him come close. So this was a guy who was fighting like a maniac on offense and defense at the same time. That's the real story for me. People will make it about AJ, but it was all about Dubois. I would venture to say Dubois may never have a fight like this again in his life. He may never fight this well in his life. But if he did, if he shows up like this again, he will beat everyone that is fighting today in the heavyweight category that we know about.
Fair point.
He goes into, if he fights Usyk like this, it will beat him black and blue. If Tyson Fury makes the mistake of coming into the ring against this guy, and this guy fights like this, it will flatten him completely. So that's my take.